Okay, well guys, so how's she going today? So, yeah, I had to get in the pickup here, go count our bales. Looks like off our place, we are, this is just off our land, that's not including anybody else, but we definitely got more hay this year than they were saying, than what we ever did. Last year we ended up with a total of 68, if you guys remember. Now, if I counted correctly, because I'm terrible at counting, I might have missed a bale. I mean, I tried not to, but there is a total of 124 bales off our farm. So this is pretty much beyond the goal that I set. So looks like we're staying in business for another year at least, hopefully. Now, this is because we've had a lot of rain in June and July, kind of at, you know, when we, I guess, needed it. But the problem is that we kept getting rain after that. It's like, you know, it wasn't going to grow any more than that. So we didn't really need any more rain. We only need enough to make it grow until July, and then after that, the rain can shut off for a couple of weeks. Not more than a couple of weeks, because it takes the young guy a while to get here, because he's got to go do all his crap first. So, now, this is, like I said, there's a total of 124 off our land. But for the new hay, right now there's a total of 16. I talked to the, guess it would be the second oldest child from the young guy. He said that there would have been 17 there, but he says he only ended up with half a bale, so he came over and baled, you know, this junky hay. So there would have been 17, but we ended up with 16. So, yeah. Well, there's one bale that's sitting on there. I counted that anyway, so yeah, so there's about 124, 125 bales out here. That's actually pretty good for our, you know, for our farm. But that's mainly because we've had a lot of rain, and it finally, yeah, don't have to fucking worry about it anymore. We can be done for the damn year. Now, what was so stupid was that shit down there in the ditch. There's a little, you know, little ditch down in there. It's a little low spot. I think the time I got to that, it was probably getting on to about 3 o'clock, I think. I don't remember. But I had flipped it. I didn't put them into a windrow right away. I just flipped them so the you know, the sun and the wind could get to it. It was still soaking wet. It was unbelievable how wet it was underneath. So they were over along the bush there. The young guy's kid was bailing, but he was here too. He was talking to his kid. So I was coming along in the woods there too. I was flipping that one windrow, and I stopped him and I said, well, tell your kid to not go in that ditch and bail it because it's too soaking wet. So what we ended up doing is I went and flipped them. And then I went over to the ex-mayor's field. I went and flipped all that. Of course, but I wasn't even, I was just getting started, and here he was already coming with the damn baler. I was like, dude, I haven't even made a windrow yet for you. Because that shit over there was a little bit thinner, so that shit was just literally just dried right out. They couldn't get any drier than that. So that shit was, it was ready to be baled. But Yeah, that's impressive. 120, 124, 125 bales. I counted 124, but I don't think I included that one because I don't know if that was part grass or what was in it. So, but yeah, there's at least 124, 125 out here, which is a huge increase from last year. You know, last year was only 68. You can definitely tell that there's definitely a lot more bales out here this year. But that helps. That's mostly because there was actually grass here, along with the flowers. I don't know if the cows cared much for the flowers, but at least there's something in here that they'll, you know, they can fucking nibble on. So that means with 124 fucking bales, of course, you gotta remember that we're still gonna do that 60-40 fucking split. I don't know, I think he ought to make it, you know, he ought to make our cut a little bit bigger, to be honest with you, because I mean, I spent time and money out here too, flipping this shit, you know, raking it. So we're at 60-40, I think it ought to be, what the hell would it be? 55 and 45? You know, at least a little bit more so we could get a little more bales, but because think about it, if we could get our share, I'll have to talk to my grandma about it, but I don't think we'll have to buy any hay this year. We should be able to live off of what we have for at least most of the winter, if not all of it. We may have to buy at least 1 or 2 bales, but that's usually, you know, pretty much right at the bitter end when the snow's starting to turn to mush. You know, when it starts getting up to the high 20s and stuff like that, high 30s, usually when winter's about over with, you know. This year we were buying hay earlier. I don't know, or last winter we were starting to buy hay early because we were just running out. You know, and you know, we have more cows now too. I mean, I got 2 cows. But I think my uncle's got he's got a calf too. The other cows had calves too, but they all died, so we each ended up with 1 this past winter, which was bullshit. But you know, I mean, shit happens. So, but I'm just happy. But not going to say that this is going to happen every year. You know, I mean, next year it could be a drought. You know, where we get no hay. Of course, if we get no hay, we're fucked. But no, it definitely looks like we're staying in business for at least another year. I'm just saying, I think the young guy ought to split it a little bit different. I know that 60-40 split, you know, it ought to be 55-45, I guess is how that would work. You know, where his cut's a little bit smaller, and our cut's a little bit bigger, not by a lot. It ought to be split 50-50, but I know he ain't going to want to do that. But I think, you know, to be fair, I think, because, you know, I did spend a little time, I spent like, what, 2-3 days out here raking. I mean, I burned a lot of fuel doing this, and I did it so, you know, I know that we would get this fucking crap baled and get it out of here. Because I'm sick and tired of losing hay, and you know, it keeps getting fucking rained on, and the more it gets rained on, the shittier it is. You know, because really what the cows eat, they don't really eat the stem. You know, like here, this would be kind of like a stem, but they more or less want the leaves. That's where all the good stuff is in the leaves. So I hate having to rake it because I don't like raking. I mean, I enjoy doing it, but it's not good for the hay, especially when it's dry like this, because, you know, then the leaves get pounded off. And then it don't help that I wasn't set up right, so I ended up driving over the windrows, you know, with the full weight of the tractor. So that knocked some leaves off. But we were just in such a fucking tight spot that I had no choice, because that never would have dried down there. You would have had to leave it for a couple days It might have even had started molding because it was never going to dry out. The young guy doesn't have a rake. His broke, or he retired it or whatever. Which I don't give a fuck anyway. I mean, we got our own rake, so I guess come this winter, we're going to give that, well, after I get Big Red fixed up. That's another thing too. The young guy said he would help me fix Big Red, but he says, well, he ain't going to help me. He's going to call a buddy. I guess he's got a friend that works at a dealer little ways down there, and he said that he would take Big Red down there. He just said that I would just have to pay, you know, the repair bill, obviously, which is, I mean, obviously that's fine. Because he thinks that Big Red shouldn't be sold. He thinks that I should, you know, because apparently to him Big Red's still kind of young, even though it's got 6,000 miles. So he told me just to save up the money, and then when we have the money put aside, to let him know, and he said he would take it down to his buddy's place there, and they would fix Big Red, because we know what's wrong with Big Red, and you would have to pull the transmission out in order to fix that. But I know what the parts cost, but the labor is what would be the most expensive. So he said he was going to call his buddy up and get a price quote on that. But if he will, I don't know. It's going to take me a couple of months, probably even 3 to 4 months, I don't know, to save up that kind of money. Because we're talking probably at least, you know, $1,500. I don't know. But, I don't know. We'll see if he wants to do it. He says he would, but he says I just have to obviously pay for it. He didn't say anything to me about paying him in fuel, you know, for traveling. He says he travels all the time, so I don't know if he would charge me anything for that. I mean, if he does, he does. I'm not going to cry over it. But, yeah, it looks like we can stay in business, hopefully for another year. I just wish the young guy would come down on his split a little bit. Even just a little bit, it would be nice, because we could get an extra, even if we could get an extra 5 bales, it would be nice. We could get fucking through the year. And maybe, just maybe, we won't have to haul bales in that fucking thing. That thing's about wore out. The last couple times I've started that thing, it starts at a slow crawl. It's like the battery's weak or something, I don't know. Need to take it down the interstate at 75 miles an hour and get that alternator to fucking spin over. Sitting at a fucking idle, don't do nothing, but yeah. 124 bales. But we know we're not taking any of this though. Our split's going to be somewhere else. It's not, well, we might take a few here, but most of it's coming from the other side. Because this is all flowers and bullshit. Nobody fucking wants that. I don't want it. I'm not feeding my cows that. I want the good stuff. So, yeah. We're going to take where it's the best. And, which is actually kind of more or less along the bush, and then going into the south part of the field. But then we can also take a few more of those good hay. I think last year all we could take for that good hay was 4. This year we might get to take 6, I don't know. That can be up to my uncle, he can figure that one out. So I'm not going to worry about it. I would haul bales with the 1586, but I don't have a bale spear or a loader. Been meaning to get a bale spear so we could get the 400 off of fucking moving bales, but that'll never happen, so not now anyway. And here's the fuel tank setup. Still working. I gotta get a new hose though. Hose is pretty kinked, so yeah, we're gonna have to get more fuel too. 124 bales, that's, well, 125 maybe. That's actually a good thing, so. But yeah, anyways guys, I guess I'm gonna take off, so I guess I have a good day and stuff, so yeah. Thanks for watching guys, take her easy.